It means that the quantities we are consuming are literally killing us. 10 teaspoons, 11 teaspoons, and just one more for good luck, 11.5 teaspoons of sugar, topped up with some fizzy water, 350 mils of water. Let's just give that a stir. Ooh, look at that. Delicious. Hi, my name's Christine L. Conroy. Welcome to Happy Stuff and Fluff. On this channel, we're all about positive ageing, and this video is part of the Positive Ageing series. Unfortunately, today, not only are we not talking about positive ageing, we're talking about something that is accelerating the ageing process in you and the visible signs of ageing in your skin. Boy, have I got some scary things for you today, but stick to the end because we do have a solution. Now, once again, new research, you may think you know about sugar. This is what we're talking about. You may think you know about it, but new research is coming through all the time. It is scary. Now, what is it? We're going to talk about sugar. Let's talk about what it is first of all. It's just a simple carbohydrate, okay? It's made up of two sugars, glucose and fructose, that are bound together, that it's naturally made by and found in all green plants and fruit. Now, glucose is the body's source of energy. We need it. Every single cell and system in our body uses glucose for energy. It's essential to our health. Our ancestors acquired the glucose they needed in plants and fruits, but they didn't eat quite as much of it as we do. Unfortunately, the majority of our sugars today comes from added sugars that are added or found in the food supply, added to food in order to make it taste better. And the problem we have is very often that's hidden away in the most unlikely of places, especially if you eat a lot of processed foods. Sugar can be found everywhere, and this is part of the problem. It means that the quantities we are consuming are literally killing us. And I'll explain how that's happening in a second. Just let me have a drink here. I have a little bit of a sore throat. I'll make up my favourite drink. Okay, I think 2 of those is 1 teaspoon of sugar. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Stick with me. You're going to love this. 6, 7.5 teaspoons. Shall I stop there? No, let's just have a bit more. 7.5, 8, 9 teaspoons, 10 teaspoons, 11 teaspoons, and just one more for good luck. 11.5 teaspoons of sugar, topped up with some fizzy water, 350 mils of water. Let's just give that a stir. Ooh, look at that. Delicious. Dun, dun. No, I love you so much, but even I'm not drinking this. Oh my word, 11.5 teaspoons of sugar in this drink. Would you drink it? The fact is, you could well be drinking this 3 times a day. What's more, you're probably giving it to your grandchildren when they come to see you, or your children. You know what I'm talking about. I think you know what I'm going to say. Just one of the popular fizzy drinks like that, if you drink just one of those a day, it increases your chance of diabetes by 26%. This is 1 a day, and it also increases your risk of various cancers. And as I say, we feed this stuff to our kids. How do we do that? Because fizzy drinks such as Coca-Cola, Pepsi-Cola, Mountain Dew, what else? Oh, there's lots of them. Pepsi-Cola, Sprite, all of those, depending on the brand, contain between 7.5 and 11.5 teaspoonful of sugar. Okay, let me just tell you about some of the other risks of taking too much sugar. Weight gain. Okay, that's at best, really, and it's empty calories at that. There's no other nutritional value here. Leads to obesity and all of the problems that causes. Apart from that, excessive sugar increases your risk of heart disease, diabetes, inflammation, and 3 out of 5 of us die of inflammatory related disease. Brain fog, this is something I didn't know. This has come out recently. It can help to increase your risk of dementia. Tiredness, sometimes during the day when you're wondering why you feel so tired, it could be that you're taking in too much sugar. Lethargy, and it worsens menopause symptoms, which again is something that I was totally unaware of. And all of these things could be put down to the fact that you are taking in too much sugar. So how does it do this? Well, what happens when you drink this then, a fizzy drink, or when you eat your favourite cake, shall we say, excessive sugar intake causes massive glucose spikes. Glucose then floods the body. Now, when this happens, your body, because your body is brilliant and all it wants to do is to protect you, your body, or the pancreas in your body, releases insulin to try to protect the body, sending the glucose where it's needed, but then storing the rest. It stores the rest, the excess glucose, in our livers, our muscles, and our fat cells. The constant flooding of glucose eventually causes the system to break down. It causes stress in the body and then inflammation. And as I've said, 3 out of 5 of us die of inflammatory related disease. So the pancreas goes on trying to protect by producing insulin to get the glucose down. The problem with that is, long term, too much insulin in the body causes problems, which leads to diabetes. Over time, the insulin becomes less effective at what it's trying to do, and this is known as being insulin resistant. I want you to remember this whenever you are tempted or giving a drink like this to someone, or tempted to eat your next cream cake. I want you to remember this: the more glucose spikes you have, the quicker you age. The more glucose spikes you have, the quicker you age. So how does excessive sugar affect your skin? Well, high intakes of refined sugar is linked to accelerated skin aging too. The connection between sugar and the aging process is something called glycation. So as you can see here, sugar molecules in your bloodstream attach to proteins, forming harmful new molecules called, get this, advanced glycation end products, or AGE, age. If that isn't irony, I don't know what is. AGEs for short. And these AGEs accumulate over time and can cause damage to the proteins in your body, including collagen and elastin, which we know is essential to maintain youthful looking skin. So then the elastin and the collagen, the fibres become brittle and thick and stiff, causing sagging skin and wrinkles, as you can see here on our friend I introduced you to last week. What I didn't tell you then was she's only 25. She drinks an awful lot of fizzy drinks. No, I'm joking. Of course she isn't 25, but she's sporting some brilliant wrinkles, isn't she? And the cross-hatching kind of wrinkles that you see is down to glycation. So it's pretty horrible, isn't it? And we need to do something about it. But here's where the problem lies. The problem lies here because we're addicted to sugar. I'm addicted to sugar, and I'm pretty sure you will be too. I know that sugar's bad for me. You know, when I was reading this, I was thinking about the fact that one of my passions is setting tabletops, dressing the table for food. I know, but I love to do that, and especially for afternoon tea, which, I mean, I don't think it's a tradition that's followed a lot these days. You go out for a special afternoon tea, for example, but it mainly consists of sandwiches, which is bread, which is starchy food, which is full of glucose, and little cakes and scones and jam and cream. You may as well just sit and drink 3 glasses of this with the amount of glucose that would be consumed in a meal like that. And I love it. As I say, I don't do it very often, but I do it. Now, the problem we have is our brains love sugar too. This is why we are addicted to it. So when we eat sugar, when we consume sugar, it releases or it triggers the release of dopamine in our brain. Now, dopamine is responsible for making us feel good when we experience pleasure. So like eating, you know, your favourite piece of chocolate or something like that. So then the dopamine release creates this powerful association then between sugar and pleasure. And therefore, we want to keep eating the sugar. It causes cravings and addiction. The more sugar we consume, the more our brains become desensitized to the dopamine release, which means we need to eat more of it in order to achieve the same feelings of pleasure. And of course, this is a vicious circle. It leads to overconsumption of sugar, it's addiction, and it leads to all of the issues that we've just talked about. But we do need to cut down our sugar intake. We need to stop this, especially if we want to, you know, get happier, live longer and grow younger. This is not helping us. We have to stop it. So we have to do it slowly, like any addiction. You can't just cut it out altogether. But what I would say, if you are a fizzy drinker, is please try to stop. Cut it down. I'm only going to give a few suggestions today because, as I say, you have to do these things slowly, and I am going to come back to the subject. But if you're a fizzy drinker, say 2 a day, 3 a day, start by cutting it down to 2, then to 1, then to half, and then please, if you take nothing away from this video, you're a fizzy drinker, try to cut down on your fizzy drinks. You'll notice a difference. You will notice a difference. And try to find a healthier option instead, one that you like. Then I would say read the food labels on things that you buy. Now, if you look at this gives you an idea of some of the names that you will hear that are in fact just sugar. I'm not going to read them all out. So lactose corn syrup is just so bad for you. And dextrose, high fructose corn syrup, sucrose, molasses, fructose, coconut sugar. You might see any of these labels in your food, and if you do, then that means they contain sugars. And so if you can choose foods that have a lower level of those sugars, then that's going to help you. Opt for a lower sugar content. Okay, so those are just 2 things. That's the start. To educate yourself on where the excess sugar is in the food that you buy. I think if you do that, you'll be helping yourself an awful lot. Cut back on fizzy drinks. It's a start, because what you're trying to do is to reduce these sugar spikes. Now, in addition to cutting back on sugar, there is a way of eating that is meant to help you to eat the foods you like whilst minimising the glucose spikes. Now, this is going to be in addition, I think, in addition to trying to cut down on sugar, this is also going to help you. This is a fabulous book by Jessie Inchauspé. I'm sure it's not the way to say it. She's the glucose goddess, and it's your 4-week guide to cutting cravings, getting your energy back, and feeling amazing. Now, it's a brilliant book. It's an easy read. It's incredibly colourful. Lots of recipes in it to help you cut down on the cravings for sugar. It's, as I say, it's an easy read. It's packed full of information. She offers hacks to help you to cut down on your sugar. And one of the most important things she talks about is introducing vinegar into your diet. Now, I've been doing this for the last week. It's amazing. It's amazing how full you feel after you've done this. Now, it might sound dreadful. She says take a tablespoonful of vinegar, but she offers a vinegar cocktail, which is what I've been doing. Let me tell you why it works. It contains acetic acid, and this slows down the rate at which our digestive system breaks down the sugars and starches into glucose, which leads to smaller spikes. So your body is not being flooded by glucose. It's taking a lot longer to get into your system, which is a good thing. So she says take a tablespoonful a day, 10 minutes before the meal, which is going to contain the most glucose. Well, for me, that would be my evening meal. So she suggests you put a tablespoonful of vinegar, any kind of vinegar except balsamic vinegar, because that contains sugar. Now, if you buy the book, let me know and we can go through, you can tell me what you're doing. As anything else, when I talk about these things, take from it what you will, start slowly, introduce them into your diet until you're used to doing that, and then do something else. Whatever you do, it puts you in a better place than you are now. Okay? Have a look at the book. I'll leave the link down below. Let me know in the comments box if you're interested in doing this or having a look at it and seeing what you can do in your own diet. Let me know, because I'm going to start taking things from here and I'll tell you about it too. We can do it together. Okay, long video, but it was spooky when I was doing the new research on just how bad sugar is for us. But thankfully, she is, let me tell you what she is a biochemist, this lady. She knows what she's talking about. And there's lots of research being done to help us to sort the problem out. Okay, I'll leave it there before it's time for your bed, because I know it's a long film. And I'll see you next time. And until then, remember that on the Happy Stuff and Fluff, we're getting happy, living longer and growing younger. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.